What do you make of that? What does this mean for the war in Gaza, and what pressure does this put on Hamas?
Well, Hamas is all but destroyed. It's not completely destroyed. That's part of the challenge. They're still capable of popping out of tunnels in North Gaza and carrying out guerrilla attacks. That's very difficult to deal with militarily. But Hamas, it would appear, is in a position now where it can be forced into negotiating an end to hostilities. And it's certainly weakened enough that Israel can claim it's achieved its military objectives. But Israel was never clear about military objectives because it didn't want to link them to political objectives, unlike the case with Lebanon. I think now the time has come when that has to be done. Of course, we've got 103 hostages, possibly, unfortunately, possibly many, if not half of them, are no longer alive. But there are still, hopefully, 60 plus people that can be saved. That's really desperate, and this is the moment. I mean, there have been various reasons made for not going ahead with a ceasefire to get the hostages out, but now there are no more excuses.
With the conflict with Lebanon, Israel has warned residents not to return to the border yet. It's been more than a year since many Israelis have not been able to return. Some are doubtful that it's going to hold. How much longer will these Israelis have to wait till they can return home?
Look, we don't know, but my reasonable estimate is not very long. Netanyahu has always made it very clear that the aim of the incursion into Lebanon was to allow people to return to the north. And they've done all the things militarily and politically that can reasonably guarantee safety. So I think it's not much longer to wait for the people of Israel and northern Lebanon. I do think whether Israel wishes this to be the case or not, there is a link, however, with the situation in Hamas, with Hamas in the west, in Gaza, and also developments in the West Bank. There needs to be political solutions to all of these things. There's to be stability and peace for Israel.
During the past few months, Israel has successfully targeted Hezbollah's military infrastructure. Key leaders such as Hassan Nasrallah have been eliminated, forcing the group to really reconsider its position. And as you say, Hezbollah is weaker than ever. What does the future of Hezbollah look like?
I think we can hope that the tide's going out for Hezbollah, that it withdraws from military activity, makes a very clear commitment. It is also a political party, so it's a strange social service organization representing the Shia community, about a quarter of the Lebanese population, a political party representing them, and this dreadful Iran-backed terror group. It's possible it will decide on survival as a political and social force and give up its terror force. And I think Iran would back it on that. Iran's in such a weak position. And critically, to understand this, Iran and Saudi Arabia have been bitter rivals. Saudi Arabia now wants a peace deal with Iran. So I think the conditions in the neighborhood, of course, Donald Trump coming in as president, even now, that he is certain to be president on January 20, he will want to claim that he's delivered on his promise of ending wars. So I think that all plays well for this peace to hold and to extend.
On the incoming Trump administration, of course, he's vowed to end the war in the Middle East. What difference will his administration make?
Just that political will to ending conflict. I mean, in Israel, there's great excitement that he's been re-elected. He's seen as somebody, Joe Biden, I think, was a very loyal friend of Israel, but that's not the perception on the ground. Trump is seen as somebody who would do exactly what this current government in Israel wants. That may not be exactly true, but I think everyone benefits if there's an end to hostilities, if the hostages were returned, if there can be a lasting ceasefire, and then the beginnings of a political solution. Trump, of course, is not going to be part of that engagement in a political solution in the way that many would hope. But just the fact that he's wanting to have good news early in his presidency, wanting to claim victory for ending wars, I think that can play well.
Global Islamic Politics Chair at Deakin University, Professor Greg Barton, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour. Really appreciate you making the time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.